Welcome to the Why Not Real Estate Podcast, where you will learn top strategies from world-class real estate investors, both large and small. Why not? Tune in and get started today.
Finding the right deals and funding. So finding the right deals, like I told you, I lean into my networks. So there are so many real estate investors who are so successful. So I lean into my networks and they give me strategies, contacts. For example, I go to the Boston REIA meeting in Randolph. I met a wholesaler there, and he had a beautiful three-family, 180-year-old building, but huge and with such good, it was in decent shape. So I acquired that property from him. I work full time, so I don't have the time to knock on doors. I know a lot of people make a lot of money by door knocking. So that is not, so this is what strategy, right? You go to your masterminds and I'm like, should I door knock? They're like, no, you don't have the time. So this is where you kind of like learn. You learn from uh, experienced, successful real estate and business owners. Yeah. Because a lot of my team members in these masterminds, they've transitioned into business owners. So I'm just watching their transition right in front of my eyes, and I'm like, wow.
Hey, what's up, all of my real estate peeps? This is Brian Lucier from the Why Not Real Estate Podcast, where we interview seasoned, sometimes not so seasoned, and mega seasoned real estate professionals, where we believe on this format, multifamily is the best asset class, but we have been proven wrong on a few shows. So today we've got something a little interesting for you. I was going through her website, looking at some of her properties, and I have a lot of questions for this young lady. She's got some properties. It looks like they're Airbnb, but we're going to ask her some questions when we get in there. So my ladies and gentlemen, my real estate rock stars, wealth builders, and all of my real estate peeps from coast to coast, we have a truly dynamic guest coming to join us today on today's episode of the Why Not Real Estate Podcast. And trust me, you're going to learn a lot from this one. Our guest is a powerhouse of precision leadership and legacy building. Before shaking it up in the real estate world, she spent over 2 decades deep in the trenches of complex, high-profile IT program and portfolio management. From overseeing global ERP rollouts across industries like healthcare, government, and finance, to navigating risk, compliance, and cutting-edge data migrations, she mastered the art of executing under pressure, guiding international teams, and aligning strategy with results. She didn't just manage projects, she led transformations. With a grip on innovation, FIPS compliance, and customer-centric IT design, she helped organizations streamline operations and leap forward in a digital-first world. But after years of building systems for others, she made the bold decision to start building legacy wealth for herself. And that's when real estate came calling. Now, with over 20 years of real estate investment experience, our guest has strategically scaled a diverse, multi-state portfolio using powerful tools like creative financing, joint ventures, and value-add renovations. In just 24 months, she and her team expanded their holdings by a staggering 75%, not by chance, but through laser-sharp analysis, hands-on management, and a whole lot of grit and hustle. But what really sets her apart is her ability to inspire trust and deliver results. She's earned confidence of her investors who've entrusted her with both their hard-earned savings and retirement funds, all while creating deals that generate solid returns and long term wealth building opportunities. She is living proof that with vision, strategy, and integrity, you can turn investments into impact. So, whether you're dreaming of scaling your own portfolio, navigating creative deal structures, or learning how to bring IT level precision to your property game, this episode is going to be a masterclass in action. Ladies and gentlemen, all of my real estate peeps and rock stars, please help me to welcome to the mic owner of Stay Jasper Homes, the one and only Hannah David. Hannah, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brian. It is an amazing opportunity, and I'm very excited. Thank you for inviting me to your podcast.
Oh, no problem. And just so our guests know, we met each other, I think, last November in Worcester, Massachusetts at the Cove, which was a stunning development. And later in the networking after, we had a nice chat where I was able to find out a little bit more about you. And you had some interesting questions for me and where I live. And you said, I want to be on your show. And I said, well, let's make it happen. And here we are. So,
Thank
Hannah,
you.
welcome to Aruba.
Oh, thank you. I can't wait to see your paintings, more of your paintings. Yeah, your
Well,
starfish paintings.
thank you. Thank you. I'm sure I can text you a few of those or send them over. But right now, this show is all about you. So
Thank
in the intro, we found out a little bit about what you used to do before real estate. But I want to ask, what was that transition from the IT world to real estate? I mean, there's two different industries there. How did you take your focus from IT and turn it towards real estate?
So, real estate is my side hustle, and that is my passion to help hundreds of professionals invest their hard earned money in real estate. So I have a very good team of general contractors, plumbers, electricians, property managers. So with their help, I'm able to manage my real estate portfolio with a hands-off approach. So I am a management consultant. So real estate is my side hustle, but I was able to scale my portfolio. Yes.
So here you are working with international I teams, solving all these problems. What was that light bulb moment where you said, "Wait a minute, I could do real estate"? What inspired you to do real estate?
Yes. Growing up, my family struggled a lot to make ends meet. And when I was 10 or 12 years old, my dad lost his job and life took a very sharp turn. My parents used to wake up at 4 a.m. and they used to work for like 12 to 14 hours. So I always thought, okay, I have this IT job, but what if I always had a backup plan. I thought, okay, I'll become like a nursing assistant or I will like start a cleaning business. I'll do like I always had a backup plan. But I always thought, why don't I invest in real estate? Because my family depends on me and my extended family depends on me as well. During the COVID pandemic, me and my sons, we dug into our family history and we uncovered the incredible legacy of my great grandmother, Lydia Muthulakshmi. She was a trailblazer. She was an uneducated girl, and she was asked to sit in the zanana, the dark kitchens of the houses. Instead, she decided to go and join a convent, get educated. She went into the slums and villages, taught thousands of girls, and she also bought a huge movie theater in the heart of Bangalore, which is worth millions. And she just donated it to the church. She also helped the church build a large building, which is still standing strong in the heart of Bangalore city. Her story was a great inspiration. And I just said to myself, I need to think bigger. I need to break free from limitations and I need to chase the improbable. So for 20 years, I had just a snail's pace, I had acquired 6 doors. So at that time, kind of during the COVID, my son joined the Air Force as well. So when I dropped him off at Boston and I came home, they kind of read these scripts in the Air Force. If something happens to me, so and so will contact you and everything. I was like, well, my son took this decision because he's a patriotic citizen. What can I do? So all of this had kind of culminated. And I am like, I'm going to unlock the future. And I'm going to unlock the future with goals that I always dreamed of. So decided real estate is something I'm familiar with, but let me take it to a whole nother level.
Okay, so the inspiration originally came from your great great grandmother?
Yes, yes, yes,
So she was involved with the real estate, she was helping other
yes.
people, she was entrepreneurial, and you,
Churches,
why not me?
yes.
All right, perfect. Were there any other influences, either back home or in the United States, that influenced you to do real estate?
Yes. I had a friend who used to attend our church, and he moved to the Midwest. And him and his wife, they were helping hundreds of people fulfill their dreams, and they were coaching them and teaching them. That was an eye opener to me. I just said, I can't fly blind. I have to get educated. I need to learn. Knowledge is power. So I interviewed 67 programs. And then I finally decided to join my friend Roy's program.
So, I'm not sure if you heard the question, but your friend Roy, his coaching program was real estate?
Yes,
And what
yes.
kind of real estate was Roy coaching on?
All kinds. They have like 70 to 80 classes. And that's what I wanted. I just didn't want to pigeonhole myself into a program. I just wanted a broad spectrum. I wanted something like buffet style so that I could just pick and choose the strategy that would work for me.
Okay, and what of those strategies did you go back for seconds?
I, so many of them, multifamily, the BRR method, midterm rentals, short term rentals, creative financing, so many, at least like 15 to 20. Self directed retirement plans,
So, what are you invested in today?
a variety, because the exit strategy and the entry strategy, it depends on the deal. So it has to be custom tailored for the deal. So in IT, when we implement a solution, we look at the problem statement, and we say, okay, this software will work, this hardware will work. So that's how you solve a problem. Same thing with real estate. You look at a deal, you have to do your due diligence. Is it a good deal or a bad deal? Okay, it's a good deal. How do we structure this deal?
Okay, so that sounds like an overall 30,000 foot overview to approach any type of real estate deal. So, on the Jasper Homes site,
Yes.
uh, that appears to be Airbnb midterm rentals. Is that correct?
Midterm rentals is right. I started off with Airbnb, short term rentals, and then I decided as a working professional, midterm will be more suitable for my lifestyle
So,
and my values as well. I just don't want to be in the weeds, hands on, managing a team or managing properties. Yeah, I just wanted a hands off approach. So midterm yielded itself better.
so right now in your portfolio, you have midterms,
And
Airbnb,
long terms.
and long terms.
Yes.
And for anybody who's listening to this program and doesn't know the difference, your Airbnb is typically a rental that has to be under a month because then they become a tenancy if they're there for over a month. Your midterms, these could be your traveling professionals, nurses, IT, computer people who might need a 2 to 3, maybe 6 month contract. And then your long terms fall into the tenant at will or the tenant with a term agreement where they are going to stay there for several months, several years on end. So midterms, Airbnb, and long terms, those are what you're holding today.
Yes.
And you look pretty happy about that decision.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Definitely, definitely. Yep. I had to transition out of short term. Yes. As a working professional, though you have team members, they kind of like try to contact you. And most of the time, I don't take these calls 9 to 5. So I'm like, no, this is not going to work. Yeah. So I had to transition quickly to midterm rentals. Yes.
So, did you fade out of the Airbnb short-term rentals?
Yes.
Okay, so now you're midterms and long terms.
Yes.
And are these, well, your midterms, they looked beautiful on the website.
Thank you.
Whoever,
Thank you.
whoever's watching this later, you got to go to her website and check out. It looks like you're hiring interior designers and all kinds of stuff. It looks really nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then your long terms, are these single family houses, apartments?
I have a few single families. I do have duplexes, and I also have triplexes.
Okay.
But my plan is to scale that. Yeah.
Yeah, the twos, threes, fours, those are the bread and butter properties because you can buy those without having to do a commercial loan. And yeah, that's a good way to start. And sounds like you're there. So, 20 years you've been in real estate, and then in the last 24 months, last 2 years, you increased your portfolio 75%.
Yes.
There's a story.
Yes.
So 20 years ago, you were doing what type of real estate were you doing 20 years ago?
I was doing long term, but I didn't have a team. I was doing it alone. And so you make mistakes. The best lesson is to learn from other people's mistakes.
Amen.
So, yes, joining this education program and reading this book, Think and Grow Rich, I'm part of a very powerful mastermind. So many professionals attend the masterminds and they give you expert advice. For example, I put together in the last 2, 3 weekends, I put together advertisement for my midterm rentals. They looked at it and they gave me such good feedback. They're spot on. So I just love attending these masterminds, standing on the shoulders of giants. That's how you scale. Yesterday after work, I rushed to Dover, New Hampshire to listen to Zach and Andrew Freed.
Yep.
Wow, it was like an avalanche of information. So I just loved every minute of it. Yeah. So that's how you scale, standing on the shoulders of giants and learning from them.
Yeah, Zach and Andrew, getting a drink of water from them is like being fed with a fire hose. They do a good.
Very,
They've come a long way very quickly.
yes, very quickly. Yeah.
So here we are, and the last 2 years seem like the real accelerated growth. So this part of the question has two parts to the question, and I always like asking one. This is the time machine, right? If you could go back 20 years in time and tap yourself on the shoulder and say, Hannah, psst, you should do this. What advice would you have given to yourself back then 20 years ago? And then for that investor who's just trying to decide if they're going to get started seeing this show for the first time, what advice would you give to that newbie who's starting out today? But we'll start with you. Tap yourself on the shoulder 20 years ago.
Thank you. Thank you. So 15 to 20 years ago, I received an invite for a local landlord meetup. Now, looking back at my life in the past 24 months, I could realize that that was the biggest mistake I did. I did not attend that event. I was able to scale, and I know that I'm going to scale much more. The key reason is I've surrounded myself with communities of like-minded, successful individuals, and they are growing fast and they are dreaming big and they are setting these goals that just scare them and everyone else around them. So surrounding yourself with communities, that's how you're going to take bold action with faith, persistence, a clear vision, and everything starts to align. So you have to believe in your potential, but also you have to be part of this community so that you can trust the universe, that the universe is going to support your success. It's like the mindset transition.
Yeah, you got to show up.
Yes.
You can't catch the flight if you don't go to the airport. But boy,
So
you can
true.
go anywhere if you catch that flight, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, mentorships. Actually, I was inspired the other day. I've got a yellow podcast I'll be doing, but I'm not going to give that one away yet. But it's, and then the same day that that happened, one of my first mentors texted me and said, "Hey, we got a new thing to talk about. I want to be on the show." And now you're mentioning it. So, boom, 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 three things in a row, all within 24 hours. So, yeah, the universe has a funny way of hitting you over the head with a two by four.
Yes, definitely.
So, your advice to you: surround yourself with a good community, just take the leap, dive in, and that community, whether it's multifamily or Airbnb or mid or short term rentals or whatever it's going to be, find that group. You mentioned a landlord association meetup group. Absolutely. If you were going to do long term rentals, that would have been a good place to start. And you mentioned the smorgasbord, the buffet, right? Real estate isn't just one flavor of ice cream. You've got like 57 different flavors
Yes.
out there, and everybody will look at it a different way. I say this all the time. You could ask 15 real estate investors what's their strategy and get 32 different answers.
Yes.
So there's so many things that you could do. So there we are 20 years ago. Let's fast forward today, 2025. That person who's on the fence looking at real estate thinking, I don't know if I could do this. What advice would you give that person who's thinking about starting out today?
I would say get educated. I didn't have education. I didn't know about all these entry strategies, all these exit strategies, all these revenue streams, funding streams. You have to get educated. If only I got educated, I can tell you, probably I will be owning 1,000 units at this point. But I just did not get the education. So that was missed opportunity, lost opportunity. Yes.
But you're there and you see.
Yes,
So
full force.
yeah, I mean, even when it rains outside, I'll look at something positive about it. So
Yes,
you've
yes,
identified what you didn't do. However, you've put a spotlight on what you can do, or a newbie who's looking at this now, what they could do to get started. So
yes.
now there's a young person starting out standing on your shoulders because you're the
Thank
giant.
yes. And I don't regret taking a pause for those 20 years. For example, my son was only 8, 9 years old. He finished college level math. He was only like 10. And he was doing MIT Calculus 3 courses online. And he would always be frustrated about something. So I had to get on the phone, call relatives who knew math, and I had to like connect him with someone, find him a tutor. So I kind of like was there, but my kids say like I should have been there around more, but it's okay. I was there and I kind of helped them. So that was so key, being a mother, being plugged in. My oldest son sang in a choir program in New York. So he was part of this amazing choir program. I could have just visited him once a month, but no, every weekend I visited him and I participated and I was plugged in. So now we have a great relationship. So he's my partner. He's one of my partners. And he's like, he has told me so many times, I will close my eyes and trust your judgment. I would feel guilty. But that's because of the relationship that we built. Yes. So that was important. Yeah. So that's what I did those 20 years.
But no regrets. I mean,
No regrets, no regrets. One of my tenants, I worked with her because I was spending time helping my second son with his college. Uh, interviews, and my son was interviewed by all the Ivy Leagues. He was waitlisted by Harvard and Carnegie Mellon and other universities. All of that we were able to accomplish because we were a team. I didn't like help him per se, but I came alongside and assisted him, even if that was making fried chickens. Trust me, fried chicken can take care of so much frustration.
I'm Italian, and yeah, comfort
Yes,
food, meatballs, pasta,
yes,
it just grounds you, gives you a safe baseline. Say, okay, I can operate from here.
yes.
Yeah. So fried chicken, you win. So
No,
you've done a lot of different kinds of deals, the mids, the shorts, the long terms. What's the best deal you've ever done? How did you find it? What type of property was it? And how did you finance it?
yes. So I found a property in Worcester. I had just done a new build. So I was kind of fascinated with like new builds. So I found this three family. There was a, yes, I found this three family and I was able to buy it. And this property is few minutes from UMass and St. Vincent.
Okay.
It's just in an amazing location and it's such a beautiful home. So that's like my jewel. So
So how did you find it?
yes. So it was a multi-family. It was completely renovated, a very spacious house. I had to spend 80,000 to renovate it. I just added three bathrooms, just paved the parking lot, and I used creative strategies that I learned in the education programs. That's how I found it. And it's a very profitable rental. How did I find it? Relationships and persistence. So I was looking at properties in Worcester. There was a house on Blossom Street. Oh, it was just amazing. It looked like a palace. And I tracked down the builder who built it and the general contractor. So I reached out to him, and reaching out to him was very difficult. I couldn't find his number. Be creative using multiple resources. I finally found his number. I went and met him, and I always considered that friendship is a two-way street. So I spent some time and I taught him some tax strategies. So I demonstrated my value. Then I forged a very good professional relationship, and that changed everything. I got this property and it was just amazing. So real estate is mostly about relationships. And that is what this was. Yeah.
So
This opportunity was just because of a great relationship.
so the three family that you bought was owned by the gentleman you made the relationship with?
Yes, he was doing it as a flip.
Okay. And did you know him before the property came on?
The property never came on. I bought it off market.
Ah,
Yes, if it had come on, oh, if it was online, people would have paid 100K more.
okay. So
Yes,
it was headed towards the
yes,
MLS, but you,
yes,
because of your relationship, were able to get
yes,
it as a pocket listing. Okay, so it's
yes,
a three family. It was a relationship building with a builder. And for anybody out there on this show who's trying to find the builder of a property, go to City Hall and pull the permit. That'll be the fastest way. You'll get the general contractors, the electricians, the plumbers, everybody who worked on that property. So
awesome. Thank you.
happy to
Thank you.
share. Happy to share. So if you ever see another property again that you like, just
Yeah.
jot down the address, go down to City Hall, and you'll be able to pull all the permits on that and make sure they had permits.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, so here we are. You got it pocket listing, you got it for a deal. How did you finance that deal?
So I was the mother of a college student and a mother of an Air Force engineer. So I didn't have much money. I had a few rental properties. So I contacted 51 banks to get a HELOC with my rentals. The 52nd bank, I had already contacted a division, but by sheer luck, I contacted another division and they gave me 3 HELOCs. And then I used a DSCR loan. But even if the DSCR loan had gone south, I could have used my HELOCs and bought the property. So I was ready. That's the reason they sold it to me. And they didn't put it on the MLS because they knew I had a backup plan.
Okay, so you were solid. You had three different HELOCs based on the equity in your other properties, and then you got the DSCR loan. Just for anyone who's on the show, like I know what a HELOC is. It's a home equity line of credit where if you've got equity in a property, you can do a cash out refi or something like that. There's 3 or 4 different ways that you can do that under a HELOC. So, but you actually bought it under the DSCR. Is that correct?
Yes,
So why
yes.
don't you tell our listeners today what a DSCR loan is and how you have to qualify?
Yes. So a DSCR loan qualifies based on the rental income. And I did have, yes, I had tenant agreements in place. So I had tenant agreements in place and they knew that the property would cash flow. So the DSCR loan was based on the income of the property. Had I known this, I would have bought so many other multifamilies over the years. So I was so happy to find out about this loan product.
Well, you know about it now, don't you?
Yes, yes, yes.
So is, correct me if I'm wrong, is that a debt service credit ratio?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I believe the ratio is 1.25
Yeah.
or 1.2. Yes.
Yeah, when we were buying, we wouldn't touch anything under 1.5 because,
Okay.
you know,
Yes.
I'm super conservative, but I slept well at night.
Yes.
Okay, so it was a three family in Worcester, or for those people trying to look this up on the map, it's called Worcester. So a three family in Worcester, private relationship, never hit the MLS. You did it, you had HELOCs as a backup, but you ended up with a debt service credit ratio, which was at 1.25, which means that the income was 1.25 times more than the debt.
Yes.
So the bank felt safe.
Yes. I think mine was more at like 1.6, 1.7. Yeah.
Very good, very good.
Yes.
Because you got the
Yes.
good deal because you had the
Yes.
relationship.
Relationship. Yes.
Smart. And then, so what did you pay for this property?
I paid 630 and I had to spend, no, sorry, I paid 650 and I had to spend 80,000 for the rehabs.
So
The
all
three
in, 30.
bathrooms, paving the parking lot, and other changes. Yeah.
Yep, 3 bathrooms, paving the parking lot. So your ARV after repair value was 730 on, how much did you have to put down? Well, I've got a few questions here. So you initially bought it for 650, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And how much did you have to put down?
Almost 180 to 190. Yes.
So like 25%?
Yes. 20%, minimum of 20%. Yeah. I think I put down 20%. Yeah.
20% would have been 130. Does that sound about right?
Yes. 130. And then the closing costs and the points and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, all
That's
the fun
something I'm
stuff.
going to be very careful in the future. They just added points and other expenses. So nowadays, whenever say someone gives me the closing document, I read it like a hawk. I'm like, what is this? What is this? Yeah, I'm like,
Oh yeah.
nope, nope. That can go out. Yes.
Yeah, people are human. We've read so many HUDs and we found an error. You know, this number is
Yes.
supposed to be on that side and it's on this side. And it's like, no, 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 that's supposed to go in my pocket, not out of
Yes.
my pocket. Things happen,
Yes.
right? I mean,
Yes.
the people
Yes.
who are putting together these documents all day long, you
Yes.
know, things happen.
Yeah.
So,
Recently, I closed a seller financing deal. The closing title company called me and said, you have to pay 9,700. But I said, nope, the seller is um, paying for an invoice. So then they went and redid their math. They are sending me a check for the check is in the mail. So, yeah.
Very nice. So,
And so many investors have told me when they saw their closing documents, they were shocked. So I had a similar experience with this, but that was the first and the last. Yeah. So
okay. So you're 210 in with your down payment, your renovations, all that. Uh, 730 is your all in. Do you still own the property today?
yes, yes,
And it cash flows.
yes.
You said that
Amazingly.
very confidently, which means it takes good care of you.
Yes.
What would you guesstimate that that property is valued at today?
Definitely the high sevens, low eights.
Let's say 800. The property right now is valued at 800. You had
Yes.
210 in. Your mortgage is probably lower than 590 right now. How many years ago did you buy this?
Of just 2 years ago.
2 years ago. This is part of the whole 75%. So probably not a huge pay down yet on the mortgage.
No, I've paid down only 3,000, maybe just like less than 3,000, maybe more than 900 or so. That's it.
Okay, so you're still at 25% equity in the
Yes.
property. So the
Yes.
80 grand, how did you finance the 80 grand?
From my HELOCs.
Got it. Okay. And then the HELOCs are getting paid back, so all
Yes.
that worked out as well. And you've still got the equity in the other properties.
Yes.
So if an opportunity came through a relationship again, you're ready to pull the trigger and go.
Yes. Most definitely.
Very nice. This is a nice deal.
Thank
So
you.
the 130, where did the 130 come from? Was that the HELOC as well?
Yes.
So you leveraged this entire deal.
Exactly. Yep.
Why would you not do that?
Yes. Why would you not? Yep.
So now I'm going to ask some very interesting questions. You have a three family, fully rented,
Yes.
that's paying the mortgage.
Yes.
You had three other properties you did the HELOCs on.
Yes.
Those are rentals as well.
Yes.
So you have tenants paying off those HELOCs as well.
Yes.
Do you know
Yes.
what your rate of return is on this?
No.
Infinity.
Infinite. Yes.
Infinity.
Infinity. Yes, I
With
get it.
leveraged assets you already had with equity that
Yes.
cost you nothing. And
Nothing.
when you did the HELOC, that's not taxed as income.
Yes.
So you didn't pay tax on that.
Yes.
You put this whole deal together, 210 money from deals you'd previously done that will now get paid back by the tenants.
Yes.
And this three family will pay off the mortgage in time. That's the way
In-
real estate works.
yes.
Yeah, so is it $1 billion deal? No. Is your rate of return off the planet? Yes. This is a good
Thank,
deal.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, this was a good deal. Wow, interesting. What what was what was the toughest part of this deal?
Yes. So I had designed and furnished another house. I had hired a designer. She was like a ninja. Every weekend I went to with her to some stores and she assembled everything. She did everything. This one, I decided to furnish it every weekend. So that was my um, biggest hurdle, just doing it by myself and just stuff. And also, I am, I just came here after I got my master's. It's not like I grew up here. And it was very difficult for me to understand everything that I need in order to furnish a rental. So I had to study. I had to look at the lists of my friends who were in the masterminds. My coaches helped me a lot. So that's how I was able to. But it was 3 bedrooms. That was 9 bedrooms in total to furnish all of them. Yes.
So
So that was not an easy task. And I didn't want to just buy some cheap stuff. I furnished them with Marriott furniture. So I had to do my due diligence, search and shop around for the right furniture. Then transporting the furniture was a big problem. Huge trucks brought the furniture. So that took 2 to 3 weeks because you had to get all these resources. And I could work only weekends because I have a full-time job.
sure.
Even now I work full-time. So, and then the furniture came and the guys just put them in different floors and they left. I was like, oh my gosh, who's going to assemble all this furniture? They're like, you need to find someone. So I was getting furniture men and women to assemble. This is Marriott furniture, like great maple wood and other wood, solid furniture. Nobody could carry that. I couldn't carry that furniture. So what I did is I got a roofer and a guy who does siding contract. And I said, this is how this furniture must be. Put it together. They did it over 1 weekend.
Oh my
I was
goodness.
like, this is great. So yes,
So
finding the right resources to do the right tasks. Yeah, to execute the right tasks.
very interesting because in other countries, flats and rentals come furnished.
Yes.
Most of the time in New England, in the Worcester area, units do not come furnished.
Yeah.
So, what was the decision for you to furnish this unit?
Yes. When you furnish and you rent it midterm,
Midterm.
it becomes a luxury furnished unit. And everyone, like for example, there was a renter, they had a house fire, they stayed with us for 2, 3 months, they left. In just 2 weeks, they said, we don't like the Marriott hotel, we want to come back. Your beds were so comfortable. So you have the cozy house atmosphere. So I had like great furnishings. So they felt so much at home in my house and they were able to cook all these grand meals in the Marriott and other hotels. You have this, when I visit my son at the Air Force Base, the small burner. How big a meal can you cook with a small burner? I have a full size fridge, stove, and especially when they're going through a hardship, people love to come here. So the rent is almost like 60% more than the average rent.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. So that's how, yeah.
So this
Cash flow is king.
and this whole property is midterm.
Yes, midterm.
Oh my goodness. You're a clever girl.
Hardworking girl who doesn't give up. My friend gave me a list. I went and ordered all the material. It was like $10,000 or $12,000. I remember sitting in front of the computer, like my brain froze, my hands froze. I'm like, how in the, like, what am I even doing? Like, bed skirt, like, who knows what a bed skirt? I'm like a tomboy. I grew up like climbing trees and everything. And here I holding a bed skirt without a freaking clue.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have been a little bit out of my element there as well. Just a little.
Yes.
So you have a very interesting business model. And I think
Yes.
you're one of the first. Uh,
Yes.
Barbie, I think, was all short terms, but you're midterms. So how do you
Yes.
market your midterms? What? This
I
is a
use
different
web.
business model. It's a different business model.
Yes. 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 I use websites like Furnish Finder and other websites as well. I also market them in different groups. I use LinkedIn. I use my personal page. And I also have email addresses over the years. not over 20 years, just the past 2 years.
Mhm.
I've built a small database. So I create advertisement PDFs and I circulate it to my database. Yes.
Nice. Smart.
Thank
So
you.
we talked about the biggest hurdle for that property. What's the biggest hurdle you've had to overcome as a real estate investor, and how did you solve it?
Yes. Finding the right deals and funding. So finding the right deals, like I told you, I lean into my networks. So there are so many real estate investors who are so successful. So I lean into my networks and they give me strategies, contacts. For example, I go to the Boston REIA meeting in Randolph. I met a wholesaler there, and he had a beautiful three-family, 180-year-old building, but huge and with such good, it was in decent shape. So I acquired that property from him. I work full time, so I don't have the time to knock on doors. I know a lot of people make a lot of money by door knocking. So that is not, so this is what strategy, right? You go to your masterminds and I'm like, should I door knock? They're like, no, you don't have the time. So this is where you kind of like learn. You learn from uh, experienced, successful real estate and business owners. Yeah. Because a lot of my team members in these masterminds, they've transitioned into business owners. So I'm just watching their transition right in front of my eyes, and I'm like, wow. So
Delegate and elevate.
yes.
Yep. Yeah, you shouldn't be doing the $20 job. No. Yep. Perfect. So you,
Most of my communication is handled by my VA team.
by your virtual assistant,
Yes, yes, yes.
and where, how did, there's another great rabbit hole. How did you hook up with your personal assistant?
Yes. So that was again relationships. So I tried Fiverr and other sites. But then I was having a lot of there was an increase with hacking activities. So I was very cautious. So then I leaned into my relationships and I was able to find amazing, amazing professionals who wanted to work on a side hustle. There you go. For example, a mother, she worked with a bank. So she was a very well accomplished banker, but she had twins and she had another baby. So she's working, she wanted a job that she can just work from home. So she's helping me and she's like a ninja. She's a ninja. So, and I have another ninja as well. Yes. So, yeah. Another relative had an accident and kind of had some loss of pay and needed money for physiotherapy and other expenses. And I'm like, boom, do you want to help me? Does amazing work. Yeah. So I'm like, every time I assign a task, like they just take my breath away. I'm like, wow. So
Oh, yeah, that the book Who Not How, right? Yeah, who, because I don't want to do accounting, right?
yes,
But there's somebody out there who would love to do accounting,
love
but they don't want to do the property management.
it.
So they become the who for my how am I going to get this done? And then I become the who for how are they going to get
Yeah,
bookkeeping work.
yes.
Yeah, it's always fun to kind of put together the pieces of the puzzle. I like building the business and seeing the operations come around. So we've
And
mentioned,
leaning into property managers, right? That was the key. I had a property manager, and I remember 3, 4 months ago, he called me and he said, oh my gosh, all the sheetrock was stolen. I just forgot about it. So then I called him like 10 days ago, and I'm like, remember that sheetrock stolen? What happened to it? He said, I had the video. I gave it to the cops, and the guy is in jail. I even forgot about what happened. And then I even forgot the expenditure. Like,
So,
I am so glad I didn't have to deal with any of that.
so you had a tenant
So,
who stayed at one of your properties and stole all your sheets?
no, this was a guy that the property manager hired, and he just came after work and just stole all the material. So I think it was 18,000 or 8,000 worth of material. He just stole it.
Well, now he's got
So
free rent somewhere else.
yes, free rent and free food
Yeah,
and
free rent.
utilities with the cost of utilities
Yes,
going up.
he's got free rent, 3 square meals a day, and he gets to work out in the gym all day long.
Yes.
Amazing, amazing. So at the very beginning, you mentioned Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So I'm going to guess that that book had a huge impact on you as a real estate investor.
Yes.
What
Yes.
were some of the takeaways from Think and Grow Rich?
The desire. You need to have success starts with a burning passion for your goals and goals for everyone around you. So, in our mastermind, our leader helped us to do this exercise best year ever. And in that exercise, I wrote, I'm going to scale my portfolio by 75% in 18 to 24 months. And guess what I did? That's exactly what I did.
Now, The Best Year Ever, isn't that a book?
Probably that's a book. We did an exercise. It was 10 to 15 pages long. And we did the exercise like spiritually, emotionally, financially, relationship wise. Where are you now? And where are your goals? And then you come up with 5 goals or 10 goals in each category. And then you come up with top 5 goals and you come up with steps. Monthly, what's going to be my accomplishment? Quarterly, weekly, and daily. Yes.
That is a book. I'm, I keep looking back to the bookshelf there. I know I've seen the title of that book. I don't know if it's here in my bookshelf or I just got back here a week ago and I was at a Barnes and Noble with my granddaughter and I may have seen it there. It's like, wait a minute. I know that. I know that story. So, are there any other books
So
that may have
just with Think
influenced?
and Grow Rich, right? The faith and belief. If you're just a solo entrepreneur, you could get discouraged. You have to every day believe in yourself. Self confidence and faith, they are so important. The reason why I just kept knocking and going to 52 banks was because my team was like, never give up. We had to try so many. So that's why you kind of need that encouragement. You need that pat on the, and then auto suggestion. You meet as a group, and as your friends keep suggesting and they keep saying, you can do this, this is it, you're going to scale it by 75%, it's kind of reinforced in your mind. So subconsciously, right, you start believing in your goals. You kind of like yeah, you kind of act like you've already scaled it by 75% when it's like a far cry. You are so positive, optimistic, just energized, and you need specialized knowledge. Knowledge is power. So continuous learning. You're studying, you're reading. Last weekend, John and Scott, they are very good with creative financing. They have hundreds of properties. They had a weekend class. I was there Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 4. I did some office work and I did other things, like it was a Saturday, Sunday, but I was there till 8, 9, 10. I went and I was the last one to leave the building. So that's why continuous learning is key. And mastermind alliance, like I told you. So these masterminds, they are so key. And execution, right? I have so many friends, they join all these masterminds, they don't have a single deal. Like all of this is just the foundation, like build the building, execute. You have to execute. Yeah. So this is why you have to have attainable goals, specific, measurable, attainable goals. And that's what the best year ever book does for you.
Best year ever. I'll definitely get that one on there. I'm going to push the boundary here. Is there a third book that has had an influence on you?
Yes, I would like to talk about two other books. This was this book that I read during COVID from an Indian Zenana. So my great grandmother, I just heard stories and I always thought, well, maybe people are just making stories up and maybe it's not true. My goodness, I read this book and my jaw was on the floor. I wrote a LinkedIn article. I think it has 1,000 or 10,000 views or so. And after that, I saw so many articles on the web, so many magazines had articles about her. So it was almost this rare gem that I discovered because of my dad's brother. He's like in his 90s, and he helped me get an online version of the book. And my great grandmother, the husband, she was married as a child bride. The husband left her, and she was like just going to be in a dark kitchen. No, she literally ran away from her house in the middle of the night, went to a mission compound. 250 to 500 people were with knives around outside the church to kill her. But no, she just sat in and prayed. The East India Company came, the British governor, even Queen Victoria knew about her. So that gave me a burning desire. I'm like, and not only did she get educated, she went into the slums and the villages. She started schools for the underprivileged girls. Thousands of them were educated. So her story was like an eye opener to me. I'm like, I can't read the story and just be the same. Something has to change. But another thing I found out, right? You always you always inherit through your genes more than you think or imagine. My son had a job, and this is just like he made his own decision. Then I go to see my uncle, and he's like, well, that's the same title that your dad had when he joined the Air Force. It's like, what? It's like unbelievable. And my grandmother used to go into the slums and villages. When I was in this small town called Madurai, I used to go into the villages, 5 to 6 villages, with some IT professional friends, and we would talk to them about stories of hope, and we would give them candy. And there's a poor girl who once came to me and said, 3 days she didn't eat anything. The small piece of candy was the only food she had. And I used to go into the slums when I moved to another bigger city. And I used to talk to the mothers and beg them to send their daughters to school and not marry them early. 5, 6 years later, I went. So many of them came to me and they said, I have a business now. I'm educated. I went to school because of you. My heart was full. So I didn't even know about this about my grandmother, but I did the same. And I was like in so much shock when I learned about that. And I have to mention the Bible is amazing. Stories of Abraham, his leadership, he trusted in God's guidance. Jacob was very resilient, strategic thinker. Joseph and Nehemiah, when he had to build the wall, people were threatening him. The people who were building the wall had to carry a javelin on one hand and the bricks on the other. With last year, we had squatters. I had to fly to Dallas. Squatters were in my house. I was overwhelmed. But then I was taking my rental car and I was driving, and I'm like, I have only 1.5 days. I have to go back to work on Monday. And I was driving, and behind the truck, I saw a verse, I will never leave you nor forsake you. And I was like, this is it. So I went there like a ninja. The squatters had left the door open. I just went right in with my comforters. And they were like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm going to squat with you. And in like 5, 6 hours, I had all of their stuff in storage. And I came back to the house and I slept so peacefully. So it's like all these inspirational stories, they just like, I would say in my bone marrow, they just fuse energy every single day. Same thing, another location in the Midwest, there were squatters there. They stole my windows, stole my heater. I didn't give up. I found a tenant, put her in there, contacted the property manager and the tenant. non-stop Saturday, Sunday. Sunday evening, she was there. The property manager fixed everything. I think if this was not the case, I would have been like so overwhelmed. The squatters got the better of me. Nope, they didn't. I'm still standing strong.
What a beautiful story.
Thank you.
Wow. So, what's next for you and why not get started?
Yes, I want to scale and invest in large multifamilies. And more of my friends are trusting me. And with promissory notes, they are investing. So, and I remember Zig Ziglar's quote. He said, you can have everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. So legacy is not like one to one, it's many to many. And we all have brain ATMs. You just told me 1.5. That's a very good data point. I'm going to remember that for life. So I want to join different communities. Like tomorrow, I am tomorrow morning, 8 to 9, I'm teaching a class for veterans. My very good friend, Johnny Linham, he has helped hundreds of veterans. And I'm going to teach them about midterm renting and how you can scale the positives, the negatives. So Johnny Linham has helped me a lot. I've never paid him a penny. And I want to help the community. And same thing, I have another investor friend, Jeff. He has introduced me to this mastermind. They buy apartment complexes every single month, and it's run by a guy called Alex. I'm so happy to be part of that network. So this is what I'm doing. I need to learn. So I'm taking some time, I'm learning, but my dream is to scale and invest in large multifamilies and bring the team with me. For example, it was just like a 1 hour meeting, and I met this executive. He's in the West Coast. He's a young man, and he was very discouraged. He's like, oh, my life is a waste, and I haven't invested in anything. I helped him buy two amazing properties in the Midwest. And now, and also, everyone, right? We have our traumas and everything. So when you accomplish something and when you mentor each other, you heal your traumas and you transform your life, you transform the lives of others. So my goal is to kind of manifest and create abundance for hundreds of professionals. For 20 years, I thought, well, I'm a working mother, a working professional. There's nothing much I could do. Nope, that's not true. You can just be hands off and you can handle it all.
Alex Ragnelson? Yeah, he's. I've been following him for a while. He's a smart cookie. He knows his stuff.
Yes, he's amazing. Yes,
I probably said his name wrong, but yeah.
that's fine. Yes.
It's funny. It's such a small world, but we're all over the place, huh?
Yes. Like Alex told us in a meeting that he was at a meeting at Mar-a-Lago. And last weekend, I attended this coaching class with John and Scott. And they just said they were at this meeting at Mar-a-Lago with all these real estate investors. So I'm like, whoa, that's a small world. Yeah. So that's true. Yeah. So it's just not about proofing your future, but also proofing the futures of others. That's how faster and easier. And my executive friend, he works at an IT company, and we are all praying that it'll go public. Then he's going to make a pretty penny. And guess who he's going to invest with and he's going to partner with? And same thing, another executive friend of mine, she's right now interviewing for a position. And once she gets it, she's told me she starts saving money. She's just going to invest with me. So that's how you have to meet your friends where they are in the place of their need. And when you hold their hands on a rainy day, that's it. You're going to form these cohorts and these groups, and you're going to scale. And that's exactly what Alex has done. Yeah. Super helpful. He's helped so many. So now they are transitioning as a team.
Beautiful, beautiful. Did you have fun today?
Oh, I had so much fun. This was such a fun experience. Thank you so much.
Oh, I got a few more questions for you. So this question I love asking. It's not on the list of questions I ask. So this is a little bit of a curveball for you.
Thank you.
What question today should I have asked you that I didn't ask?
Usually, when I go for a job interview or even when I'm talking with someone, I always ask this question: who do you think would be successful? And what traits do you need to be successful? So, um, some people, they are good with relationship building. Some they're good with numbers. So it's like it takes a certain type of personality. So yes, but that's why I joined this mastermind, because it was like a buffet. I could pick and choose what would work for me. Yeah. So
So the who do you think would be successful and what are the traits they would need to be successful?
in real estate, yes.
No, I'm asking you the question.
Yes. One is you have to be creative. You have to be a problem solver. The squatters came, they took my windows away. They were going to come back for the heaters the second time. And then they chopped all the wires. They put 3 bags of cement in the pipes. So I had to solve one by one. And this was in the thick of winter. So I had to find equipment to dig up the holes and get the pipes out and get the cement out. Yes. And unfortunately, in some states, they are so poorly run. The squatters come to court, their names are not even noted. So that's why I'm so happy to live in the Northeast, because, yep, you're not going to be doing that over here. No, no, no. Yeah, the cops are more, yeah, it's like sometimes it's like there's no common sense. And when I went to the state, I was so shocked. Even at the gas station, every item was given through a bulletproof lazy Susan. There's my answer. Was this the right zip code? There's an
Oh,
80-year-old friend was like, this is the best thing that happened to you. No, it wasn't. That's another thing I had to break free from. In the Indian culture, you always respect the elderly. You give them a lot of respect, immense respect.
sure.
Like even my GC, I kind of like touch his feet and I tell him like, bless me, bless this project. But then sometimes you need to put your thinking cap on. You're like, you see that lazy Susan? And you're like, nope. So yeah.
I've learned a lot today. I had fun. And yeah, I think we've covered a lot of ground here. So, our guests who are on the show today, who are seeing this video, if they want to find out more about you, it sounds like you're going to be spreading out, maybe doing some midterm coaching, stuff like that. How would you like people to reach out and contact you?
Yes, they can contact me with my email address, which is createrealestateinvestors85 at gmail.com, or they can text me at 508-846-5192. And I do have a code here, and I can share that code with you as well. Yeah. I sent it to you in a Word document. I can send you the code that they can just use to scan and contact me.
Oh, a QRC?
Yes, a QRC. Yep.
Okay.
I can send you a QRC. Yep.
I think I can post a QRC like up in the corner or something in the video.
Yes.
So I'll
Yes.
put that up there while everything else is running. And if they want to QRC on their phones to reach out to you, I'll be happy to get that to you.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
so here we are. I had a great time.
Thank you.
Hannah David, thank you for being our guest on the show today.
Thank you.
Any last words for our viewers?
Yes. So I lost my dad to poverty. We were very poor. My dad was a heart patient. He couldn't afford medications. And I also lost a sister to poverty. She was born into poverty, couldn't have healthy food, struggled a lot. So I have named my LLCs after my father and my sister, and I go to great lengths to accommodate my tenants because I know that we were so close to homelessness. We didn't have food, we didn't have clothing. My parents struggled, torn slippers. We struggled. So that's why I go to great lengths, and I always like pray with my tenants. So at the end of the day, the human element is so important. We are real estate investors. We all want to make a buck or two. But the human element, the community element, that's so important. And that's the key ingredient to go fast and to also go far as a community. Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful words. Thank you. All right, so here we are at the end of another episode. I want to thank you again, Hannah David, for being our guest on the show today. Ladies and gentlemen, all of my real estate peeps, the rock stars, and all the rest of you out there, this is Brian Lucier from the Why Not Real Estate Podcast signing off, and we'll see you on the next one.